Let's go over 1.5 million coin squad, but I want to bring this series back. We've not done this series for a long time, but let's start. And also I want to explain to you how I make my teams. Now, first of all, you got to start off with god tier defenders. Now, I'm going to put King in. In terms of price performance, I wanted to find cards that have everything. This King card has everything. I've told you why the Jockey Playstyle Plus has been the one the most effective. I've been saying it for the past 2 years. Now you're seeing more and more people use it, including pro players. You know, if you struggle defensively, this would be the biggest difference. You ideally want, I'll be honest now, 90 sprint speed is ideally what you should be going for. I know there's not that many players, but that's ideally what you want to be going towards by the end of April at least anyway. What a card this guy has. Jockey Playstyle, Anticipate. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I can tell you for his price, 235k, absolute steal of a card. Next thing we're going to bring another card in. We're going to bring Alaba. And Alaba is also a new card as well. Also 5-star, 5-star. Good for distribution, I suppose you can say. But the reason why I wanted to go with him is because when I was looking at this card, I saw he had the ping pass, intercept, and he had the regular jockey playstyle. Very good defense awareness and very good sprint speed. Again, with a shadow card, he's very, very OP. So now you have probably two of the best centre backs that money can buy, price to performance. What's better than this? Maybe a Yap Stam that costs 2 mil. Team of the Year, Virgil van Dijk, minimum 4 million. So until you get that territory, this is probably the best you can get. So what about that? So now I was thinking, okay, let's first of all sort out the formation because you want to go for a 4-2-1-3, right? So that's what everyone is playing now. Now let's go for the cam. Now, one meta that people don't really talk about is the incisive pass meta. Now, I've talked about this card. I've explained to you that I've already used him. He's one of my favorite cards as well. This guy is a god tier card. He's 4-star, 5-star, but he's got the first touch and incisive pass and tiki-taka and pinged pass, and he's got rapid. He's got pretty much everything you'd want, and he's got all the main passing styles. The long pass, incisive playstyle plus. If you watch me for some time, if you watch all the pro players, the incisive playstyle is one of the most effective playstyles alongside tiki-taka. But you all know now, through ball, especially in a 4-2-1-3, through ball spamming is definitely the way to go. And I wanted to put some of the new strikers in, so we've gone ahead and put Lineker in. Now, Lineker, again, for his price, this is why I wanted to bring back this series now, because for his price, unbelievable. 90 sprint speed, 96 finishing, quick step, low driven, and he's got the power shot. 5-star, 5-star for 60k. Absolute steal of a card. I cannot believe he's this cheap. I used him, I recorded him as I made a video on the low drivens yesterday. If you want to abuse the low drivens, because they are very much meta now, especially now to time them with precision shooting, I'll definitely go with them. And just to add it together, what we've done is we've gone with Gnabry. Now, Gnabry is another very good card. I've explained to you that I use him. I think he's a very, very good card. He's 5-star, 5-star as well. Probably needs a chemistry, so we're going to focus on getting him on a chem boost. 92 finishing, 88 sprint speed. Again, another quick step below driven. So if you like to abuse a speed boost, these two cards are going to be perfect. And of course, he can play the right wing inside full, which is very, very important. The other card we're going to go with, to be honest, you can kind of go with just think about Joe Cole here, but just an element of chemistry, I have gone with Smolarek. Now, I'll tell you one thing with this card. He looks very okay, but don't forget he's got the low driven playstyle plus, and he's got press proven as well. 93 sprint speed, 94 finishing, good agility and balance, good passing, everything you'd predominantly want for a winger and a striker. You can play both those positions, so you can convert into a 4-2-4, a 4-4-2 quite easily with this team. And he definitely goes in as well. Then in terms of the CDM, so I was thinking, what's the best CDM right now that money can buy? It's Trent. Now, don't get me wrong. Ideally, you'd want him to have a bit better defending playstyles. If he had a jockey playstyle plus and block, he'll be perfect. But for price to performance, I mean, his price went down and has risen back up again. One of the best cards you can get. Some of the best passing playstyles, good sprint speed, 92 defense awareness. I'm just going to show you something very, very quickly using some of my filters, right? These are all the cards that have minimum 85 sprint speed, 84 sprint speed, right? There's a handful of cards. If we then take it out to being, let's say we wanted 86 sprint speed. This is 86, by the way. 86 sprint speed, 85 defense awareness. There's only a handful of cards inside this game. Another card's going in his team. And Trent goes up there. So Trent has to go into the team. I think he's so good. I've explained to you already. I think everyone knows he's the best card that CDM could buy. Yes, you wish he had a bit better playstyles, but here's everything that you need. High sprint speed, which is important. Long shots when he does go forward. The shot power, the beast of a passing, defensive awareness, and he's got the long ball playstyle plus as well. Kind of has everything that you want and a normal incisive. Now, next time we've gone with Rabiot. Now, I talked about Rabiot. I think he's a very underrated card. Now, the only downside with this Rabiot card is he hasn't got any defensive playstyles. That's the only downside. He's not really the typical player that you would play, but with a tiki-taka playstyle, you have a balance of having a long ball and the ping pass, but you can still do tiki-taka on the left-hand side. Rabiot can do a bit of everything. Very high sprint speed, very high defensive awareness, and I think only because he has very high defensive awareness and very high sprint speed, you can get away with not having the jockey playstyle and maybe not having one of these. So I think although he lacks the defensive playstyles, for 36,000 coins, he's an absolute steal. There are icons that are not even as good as him that were like 10 times his price. Absolute steal of a card. Then once I build that, let's talk about the left backs and right backs. So left backs and right backs, you have a bit of freedom in the element of chemistry. Like for me, as long as they have somewhat decent chemistry, it's not the end of the world for me. But for me, I think Cole, jockey playstyle plus, he could be faster, but in the element of chemistry, I think he's a very good card. 96 sprint speed, 93 defensive awareness. From a defensive standpoint, he's actually a very good card. Should have better passing in my opinion, but I think he's a very, very good card. He's risen up slowly, but he's a very good card. I've used him as well. I wished he could play centre back as well. I know it's not realistic, but what's realistic in this game? Let's be realistic in the first place. And then we're going to go with McManaman now. I think, again, his price was quite high. You remember when the Evolution came out? He was quite high. But to be honest, I think he's still one of the best right backs. Like, if you haven't got a Mycon and you're looking for someone cheap, 93 sprint speed, 89 defensive awareness, got the jockey playstyle, got the finesse as well, and whipped cross, and relentless. He has everything that you'd want. And he can play right wing as well. Like, it's incredible what this card can do. So I think definitely he's very underrated. You know, I think unfortunately his price really shot up when he first came out, and then the pro started using, then his price shot up ridiculously, and now he's at a very good affordable rate, and it keeps the cost down. The way you keep your cost down, generally speaking, with left backs and right backs, they just need pace per se. And if you're looking for, look, you need Theo Hernandez on the right hand side, this is a cheap option. And then for the goalkeeper, we've simply gone with Martinez. I think he pushes the price up a lot. You could make this squad 1 million very easily by just swapping some players out. But I think with a rush out playstyle plus being one of the most effective ways of stopping the ball inside the box when they rush, goalkeepers rush out, they're unbelievable. I think he's very, very good at that. He excels at that exceptional rate. And then footwork. Now, could possibly, I made this prediction, I didn't say 100%, but could possibly footwork help with the low drivens? I think they help. I think with a combination of rush out and saves with feet, if you can close down the gap between when your opponent takes a shot and then you saves with feet, I think it can really help you from close range. And that is why I think it's going to propel him to an even better, like, he was always a good goalkeeper, but I think it's going to propel him a bit more. He's still a decent height as well, 6'5", one of the better ends. So that is a very good team that you can literally get for, what's the price here? 1.5 mil, probably even less by the time watching this video. Now, if you're worried, I know you're thinking, chemistry. Now, what do I do with chemistry? It's all over the place. Okay, so what you could do here is you could, if you wanted to, we could swap the chemistry. So we can go with Austrian manager. And then what we could do is we could then go with, so Austrian manager, and then we could go with, I suppose it depends who we want to really get on chemistry here. There's two options. We could also alternatively remove him, get Czech to keep the price down. Now, you could go with Buffon of you, but let's just say we get Czech, average goalkeeper. And you can see now Gnabry gets the chemistry. And now you can kind of pick and choose. So what we could go with La Liga, and then we could go with a French manager. So what we could do is if we go over here, I actually don't even know how you do it on this website. Here is me improvising now. Evo settings, there it is. And we're going to go with, so for the league, we're going to go with League 1. That way we get Rabiot on chemistry. And then we're going to go with Alaba, who's Austrian. Bam. Now let's say you're really worried about chemistry. You could also do this. Pushes the price a bit different. You could also do this. Realistically, one chemistry is not going to make a grand difference if the card is good as ready. But I know some of you guys really, really obsessed with chemistry. You think like 29 out of 33 makes a difference. It doesn't. I've even spoken to devs about this. It doesn't. It's just a number. But the chemistry only affects the boost on our players. But if you have a very good team that has the boost, you don't need to worry about it too much. If you're still like, oh, you know what, I need to get the perfect player here, then what you could do is just get something like this. We're going to edit this and we're going to take this player off. And what you could go with Zubamendi. Zubimendi, should I say. You go with something like this, and then you've got a pretty decent amount, and then the only person that lacks chemistry now is Zubimendi. But look, to be honest, for 1.5 mil, I think it's a very good card. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.